Welcome to my unboxing and first look at the Roccat that's the way to say it, Roccat ISKU FX. So this is a premium level gaming keyboard, and before we get too far into this, no, it isn't mechanical, but it does have a lot of features that do set it apart from other keyboards, even at this price range. So the MSRP is something like 99 euros, but it's really the software that sets this guy apart, as well as some of the design things that they've integrated that really do make it a tool for enhancing your gaming experience, whether it's to make you better or whether it's just to make it more enjoyable. And so we'll get into some of those in a bit more detail once we get it opened up. So first, there's a quick installation guide, important document. You know what, we're not going to worry too much about that. Download the latest drivers off the Roccat website. And that was pretty much it. So packaging is very minimalistic on this guy. There we are. And let's start going through some of the features once we get this covering sort of torn off. There we go. There we go. All right. So relatively low profile keys. So you can see the keycaps don't stand up very high. So it's not quite like a laptop keyboard, but it is, the idea is responsiveness. So it features 1000 hertz polling rate. So there should be pretty much no lag. And then the idea with the low profile keys is that you should be able to actuate them more quickly. This is especially important for membrane key switches because you do have to bottom them out in order to activate them. I'm actually going to pull this up as a cheat sheet because there's a lot of stuff to cover. All right, programmable keys. So you've actually got a zone here, and I'm going to use this to illustrate it, right here of 20 keys that can have macro functionality programmed into them, and simply by using the Roccat Shift Plus. So you have a regular Shift key, and then you have another sort of, you can see it's got like a weird sort of graphic on it with like a downward shift and a plus. So that's the Shift Plus. So when you're gaming, you put your hand there, and then all of these keys over here in this zone that you can reach with your hand can be programmed to have macro functionality. This, to me, is a way better solution than having something like a programmable key that's off to the side. I mean, we've seen ones with banks of programmable keys that are this big. How are you going to reach it? You don't take your hand off the keyboard to go like fumble with a macro. It doesn't work that way. So the Shift is a great addition. Not only that, but with Roccat Talk, so if you have a Roccat mouse as well, you can press Shift on your mouse and then activate a macro key on the keyboard. Or you can press Shift on the keyboard and change the functionality of any of the keys on the mouse. So the way that they work together is very, very, very cool. You've also got some fully programmable keys. So these can have a basic function programmed and then a Shift Plus functionality programmed into them. So either those can be macros or regular functionality. And they've added 3 thumb buttons here that they're calling like quick strike buttons or something along those lines. So the idea is that they're things that you could reach with your thumb rather than spacebar. And there's a little indent here so you can tell which one you're actually touching. So that's very, very cool stuff. They've actually also added an indent on the W key itself. So there's your regular home row ones, your W, and then this thumb one here, as well as the 5 over on the number pad. The layout is very standard, so they haven't committed any cardinal sins. The caps lock key looks like it's been replaced. I'm not sure if they have a software functionality to turn that back on. It's probably not the end of the world, since most gamers should have their caps lock keys taken away anyway. Long enter, backspace, and shift keys, so nothing wrong with the layout whatsoever. Quick macro recording, so on the fly you can record macros and use them. This is kind of neat. This is something we have seen before. There are also media keys up here at the top, and pretty soon it's going to be time to start talking about some of the other software functionality, which I've kind of forgotten about. Ah, yes. So Roccat FX is pretty neat. So you can actually tell the keyboard you want it to have certain effects when certain things happen. So if you get hit, for example, the keyboard could glow red. It has fully adjustable colors, so something like 16.8 million colors, so you can light it up in whatever color you want. 180 plus programmable functions and the macro live recording. Okay, 25 plus functions assignable to media plus hotkeys. Okay, yeah, we got all that. 6 brightness levels. Ah, it has anti-ghosting, so you don't have to worry about. So what ghosting is if you press a bunch of keys, then it can just register random extra keystrokes. So it does have anti-ghosting. 1000 hertz polling rate we've covered already. The Roccat Talk set bonus is neat. So the Cone Pure and the Cone XTD are the ones that actually support that functionality with the keyboard. We'll be back in a moment. So you can have a number of different game profiles, and that can be indicated by the profile selector button up here. So that'll shift to a bunch of different macros and all that kind of cool stuff. The wrist rest is actually, I think, one of the stronger points of this keyboard. Not necessarily because it's like super heavy duty or anything like that, but it's quite long. So it actually gives you somewhere to rest your wrist, unlike a lot of the gaming keyboards we've seen in the past that are kind of like this, where you fall off them, especially if you have longer hands. So it's a very natural shape to put your entire palm down, which is technically bad keyboarding form, but let's face it, a lot of people do it, so it is what it is. You've got cable management holes on the bottom here, so you can route your mouse cable or sort of any other necessary cables around. You've also got a nice rubber on the bottom all over the place. So the entire under the wrist rest is here, 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 and here. And then up on the top of the keyboard, they're here, here, and here. And then these, unfortunately, do not have, oh, do they? I can't quite tell. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, these have the same rubber pads on them as well, so that's actually quite nice to see, because sometimes you put those feet up and they don't have rubber on them so they can actually move around. Yeah, the whole keyboard's not going anywhere once we get it set up. So I think that pretty much covers it for now. Thank you for checking out this unboxing and first look at the ISKU FX from Roccat. Don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips for more unboxings, reviews, and other computer videos. Actually, it occurs to me now, we should have done a night shot of this guy so you can see. We've got it on a cycling effect where it's changing the colors or it's breathing or it's doing something, I don't know. There's a bunch of different functionality that you can access just by pressing the, there we go. So there's some different brightness levels. It's kind of neat the way they've done the illumination. So the keys actually don't even look like they're clear, like they're see-through for the buttons themselves. You can see them quite clearly in the light, but then they do illuminate once the keyboard is, once the light gets a little bit darker in the room. So now we're actually done.